Hey y'all, hope you're doing well today. I wanted to bring a message to you today with regards to being mindful of what you're protecting when you're heading out from your place of peace every day, and when you're engaging with the world. And I want to talk about how to activate the goal of your gatekeeper function, okay, which is to essentially act as a guardian over your heart. So we're going to talk about that today with regards to some verses from the Bible. And if you are not a spiritual person, I still hope that you find value in what I'm going to share, and that you can apply your own lens, and that I at least get the wheels turning for you. Okay, so this is all in relation to coming out of a toxic situation, maybe after you've exited a relationship where you have endured psychological abuse or something to that degree, okay, narcissistic abuse, things like that. So what we're doing is we're just trying to sharpen our discernment, and we're applying all kind of different lenses so that we know how to intentionally be mindful every day, okay, and activate those defenses, okay, without walking in paranoia or negativity, okay, because we know that there are good people in the world, right? And so it's just about staying guarded and understanding what that means and what we're guarding ourselves against. So I hope you enjoyed today's presentation. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is how our heart is pretty important, okay? And so we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about what it means to wrestle with the darkness, and we're going to be talking about people who participate in evil deeds, people with bad intentions, okay? And that's actually what we're going to open the discussion with today. And this was super interesting to me, okay? So if you take a look at Proverbs chapter 4, verse 16, it says, "For they," and this is people who operate in darkness, okay? And of course, I always encourage you to look at different translations and also to look at the context around this particular verse. So again, it's Proverbs chapter 4, verse 16 says, this is the New International Version, "For they cannot rest until they do evil." So it's like a compulsion, like they have to do it, okay? "They are robbed of sleep. They are robbed of sleep till they make someone stumble." So again, it's almost like it's reminiscent to me of almost like an addiction. The way like a person who's hooked on drugs, I can imagine. I've never experienced this, but it's like a compulsion that, you know, it's no longer a want at that point, but a need, and something where a person can't even just exist really anymore without that fix. So what happens with these people who participate in evil, okay, they literally can't sleep until they do it. So that becomes, the evil doing itself becomes their drug that they need to that degree. Not that they want, not that they just do here and there to enjoy or whatever makes these people tick. It's literally a need, like an addiction. So I thought that was really interesting. It's basically describing like the natural element of these people, okay, who participate in evil doing. Now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to kind of string all these together to see a big picture, okay? Now we're going to take a look at Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. And let me get got my Bible here. I'm going to reference. Okay. So, and this section is titled in my book, again, this is one of the versions of the Bible I have here, the Word Study Bible. So the title of this section is "The Whole Armor of God." Okay, so Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12 says, For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against the spiritual wickedness in high places. So what I wanted to do is break down the word wrestle, okay? Because again, this is where you can pick anything that's calling to you, and you can do a deep dive on it, okay? So let's go ahead and do a little deep dive here on the word wrestle. This was interesting to me. So wrestle has the root word rest, W-R-E-S-T, rest. And I always have these little flyaways. It's always fun when you're filming, right? And you have really fine hair like I do. Okay, so there's a little funny interruption for you, hopefully. So rest, to twist, bend, wrench, turn. From the 1300s, to pull or detach. Remember, it says, for we wrestle, okay? For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against the spiritual wickedness in high places. So what we're doing is we're wrestling, okay? So like, what does that mean, you know? I mean, we kind of know, just the modern day translation of that word, definition of that word. But again, it's so interesting how the meaning of words kind of shifts a little bit and changes over time throughout different centuries. So it just brings us a whole nother level of understanding, to understand that rest, that root part, means to twist or bend, okay? So imagine if you're trying to break free of like a stronghold, okay? I'm remembering like my old karate days, and there was one move that we learned. If you know you have an attacker coming towards you and they're just wanting to grab you, and they grab your wrist, the first thing you can do if they have it like this is to turn, to twist, okay? Because once you do that, then you're able to pull loose from their grasp. You can't pull when they have you this way. So you literally have to twist, and then you can break free. So it's really interesting. So that I view this as like a first step to breaking free, okay? So we have to kind of twist and bend. And so why is that? If you look a little bit deeper, it says the Old English root on vocabulary.com, it's wrestan, W-R-A-E-S-T-A-N, means to yank something out of another person's grasp. Exactly what I was showing you, okay? So what's happened is you have someone who has tried to apprehend you, okay, or seize you in some way psychologically. If it's psychological abuse, you know, you're having to twist. So remember, that's what the abuser does. A psychological abuser, they twist your mind, and so that's where you can get frozen or apprehended, okay, or captured. And so in order to break free, you have to twist and bend. You have to be able to intentionally zoom in on those parts of your mind that don't feel like they're operating right, and you have to go ahead by will or by force, and you have to just exercise this and all the strength you have, okay, to be able to break free. And what's also interesting is I was saying earlier, and this is when you just research the etymology on wrestle, from the 1300s, to pull or detach. So we talked about to twist, bend, wrench, or turn, also to pull or detach something. And then it says meaning to take by force, to take by force. So that means we're taking back our sovereignty, our authority, our self-authority by force, okay? We're yanking that out of another person's grasp. And if you think about it, the way we get entangled to begin with is typically when we're seized by the bending of our mind, Okay, and it's like we're tricked into this position, okay, because when we're not talking about a physical attacker who grabs, it's mental, it's psychological. And so the only way this can happen is when our mind has been bent and twisted. And how does that happen? A lot of times it happens when we're put under pressure, because if we're made to hurry up and agree to something or say yes or go along with what somebody's saying, that's when we haven't taken the time to think it through, okay? And so that's a great indicator if you're in a situation with a new person. If they're trying to put you under pressure, that's not a good sign. It's a great indicator that they may have bad intentions, is when they're trying to put you under pressure. So definitely a red flag. So I thought that was really interesting to look at the background on the history of the word wrestle. And then I want to go to talking about our heart, okay? And this is Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. I'm going to go ahead and get to that part here in my Bible. And the cool thing about this is chapter 4 has the header in my version called The Instruction of a Father. And you know, what does a father want to do to protect his children, right? That's like top. And then when you go down to verse 5, the header is get understanding and avoid evil. So they go hand in hand, right? Which is why we want to continue to learn and grow and educate ourselves. So we're looking specifically at Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. So let's go over here, and it says, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. So I want us to think about the word keep. Keep thy heart. Why are we having to keep it? Because someone else is wanting to take it away, right? Take it by force, to wrestle that away from us. Again, going back to that root word of wrestle, to take by force. So we want to keep and not allow someone to take it. Okay, why? It says, because for out of it are the issues of life. Now, when you look at the word issues, again, very interesting. The root of issues is isir, or exire. Okay, this is around the 1300s. It says to go out, go forth, or flow, which is why when you're put through psychological abuse, narcissistic abuse, it literally feels like your spiritual, your life essence, the flow of your life essence has just been blocked. And then around the 1500s, it kind of morphs, you know, the meaning into discharge from the body, such as offspring, children, or symbolically outcome of an action, consequence, or result. So essentially, our heart is like, and this is all I'm looking at. I don't see the okay, yeah, looking at the background of the word heart, it's soul, spirit, will, desire, courage, mind, intellect. Because I think that when you're talking about the heart, it can mean different things to different people. It can be described in so many different ways, you know. And so what was really interesting to me is to find out that around the 14th century, the older meaning when people would reference the heart, it meant the seat of all mental faculties, and I didn't know that. So if you apply that here, that makes complete sense, because that's what happens when these people, psychological abusers, they twist your mind. They're taking by force all of your mental faculties, so you can't use them anymore. So you're imprisoned in that manner, right? So when you want to keep your heart, for out of it flows all the issues of life. Well, what is that? It's your soul, your spirit, your will, your desire, your courage, your mind, your intellect. Those are the things that are stolen from us when we go through psychological abuse. So I hope that gives you just a little bit to think about. I hope it kind of sheds a little bit of light onto this very, very important topic. And I just wanted to keep today's video a little shorter. And I hope, like I said, my intention is always just to give you, you know, just a little, some nuggets for you to take and run with and to explore on your own. And I just want to encourage you to treat your yeses as sacred, okay? And the way you can think of it, I've referenced this before, is like you're thinking of your life force, your energy, you know, in other words, what emanates from your heart, what is stored in your heart. Just kind of view that like your energy, okay? And remembering where you end and another begins. I feel like if we go out into the world like with this alert calm, okay, just operating in calm as our baseline, but yet operating with these energetic walls, it's kind of like as you're going through, you're navigating this world and you encounter different people, it's almost like they're going to be able to feel that energetic wall, and it'll be like operating in a consistent message of no, or, you know, rejection to random people out there, unless, okay, and my point is they'll get that message without you even speaking a word, unless you choose mindfully, consciously, when you're not under pressure, to allow that energetic wall to come down, and then you treat your yeses like your pearls, okay, like your treasures. They're sacred, and that does require us to pause, and it requires intentional deliberation when we're not being pressured. And so I just hope that kind of gives you another lens to apply to understand what it means to operate by putting on the whole armor of God, or to operate guarded, to not be vulnerable, or to protect yourself from being taken advantage of, whatever lens you want to apply. I just hope that that helps give you a little bit more of a definition, or more information that you can use to form your own definition, okay, in your own way to view that, as far as how to operate safely and protected. All right, so I hope that that encourages you and inspires you today. I thank you for coming along with me today, and I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I will see you again very soon.